All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Limitless Mindset podcast. I am super excited for today. I have a amazing guest with me. She's an absolute rock star here in the East Valley. I should say all Greater Phoenix because you kind of sell everywhere, but she's in the East Valley. She is, you guys are going to know who she is instantly. You guys see her everywhere. She's amazing at marketing. She's been doing deals for 17 years now. She's been in the real estate business. I've had the pleasure of doing some business and some deals with her, and it's always gone absolutely fantastic. And she's a true professional. So I wanted to get her on here today to hopefully drop some value for you guys. Give you guys a little bit of insight on what it takes behind the scenes to be a mom juggling kids, wife, full-time business, everything at scale. She's going to share the behind the scenes look at that today and hopefully bring some value to you guys. So I'm excited. So today I have Miss Shannon Gillette with me. She is, again, like I said, an absolutely phenomenal agent out here in the East Valley. So let's just dive right into it, Shannon. I want everybody to get to know who you are. So obviously we know you're an amazing real estate agent out here. You've been crushing it for a while. Tell us who you are. Tell us about, I know you got kids, husband. Let's dive deep on that.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I think it's so powerful for the real estate community to see both of us in the same room together, right? Like
people were excited about it. Well, I got some messages. They were stoked for this.
Well, I mean, for people that don't know, if they're maybe listening from out of state, we both lead some of the top teams in the same town of Queen Creek, Arizona. So most realtors may think, man, I would never hang out with my competition, right? Or
we all help
like
each other.
their Instagram post, or, you know, people get so angry and competitive in real estate, and they see their competitor listed a home and they get mad or whatever. But you know, there's so much power in just getting along, being friendly, and you're not going to get anywhere in life like having this negative attitude against, your quote unquote competition. So I think it's cool for us to be together and, you know, be open about sharing our tips and tricks with the real estate community.
Absolutely.
But to answer your question about who I am, my name is Shannon Gillette. I like to say I went from barely graduating from high school to closing close to $100 million in real estate this year. With most of my business coming directly to me, calling me from YouTube, Instagram, and things like that. So I'd love to share, you know, how I got here. I started in leasing apartments out of high school, then worked for a builder for 8 years and left the builder in 2015 to start really fresh in real estate. And I'm all about consistency. I stay consistent in 3 areas: my personal branding, social media, video, and it's really paid off.
Good. We have a lot of questions around that. That was what a lot of people asked. I want to dive deep on that, by the way. She brought a good point about the whole competition thing. So we've done some deals together over the years.
We have one in escrow right now.
We got one in escrow right now. I think Sharon's working on that with me too. She's phenomenal. So I remember we had a sticky one, probably the Sauceman Estates, which I think you just resold. I saw it pop up. But like that one was just, you know, she had a little bit challenging buyers. I had some stubborn sellers, but it was really cool because Shannon and I were like, hey, let's put our heads together on this and figure out. And we've always made the deals just go through and figure out. It's collaboration, right? And this is the thing in real estate, she brought up a great point too. I don't really see anybody as like competition, right? Because who is going to work with Shannon as a particular type of client that resonates extremely well with her? Who would work with somebody like me, somebody that would resonate well with me? And truth be told, I could never sell every house out here. She couldn't sell every house out here.
There's 17,000
so many freaking houses out
Creek.
here. People have this crazy competition like mindset of like, I can't help other people. And the way I look at it is like, hey, Shannon's out here, I'm out here. And, you know, we got a bunch of other rock star agents that we do business with that are in the East Valley, you know. We're going to cross paths again. Like, great example. We got one in escrow now. Guess what? If, you know, if we hated each other or we had this competition mindset and we see an offer come through, it's like, oh man, I got to do a deal with this person. It's rough. I remember the sellers on the one Sharon just put in, we had multiple offers on that one, and Shannon's offer had come through and Sharon's, and I'd let my seller know. I said, hey, they're true professionals. I've done deals with them and they're absolutely phenomenal. They run a tight ship. They're sending a qualified buyer. I trust them. That helps get deals accepted because we like each other.
Yeah. So. And I will never understand. There are realtors here in our own town that maybe will block us on Instagram, not like
we're not going to name any names.
Talk behind our backs, right? Like, where are you going to get in life by doing that? Like, I can't wait for you to send an offer on my listing. And sellers, they kind of of go off what we tell them,
They do,
right?
yeah.
And it's just, too bad. So my advice to any agents that, how do they feel when they see their competition just listed a home? Are they happy for them? Are they happily liking that post? Great job. You got a listing. Great. There's plenty of homes out there. Or are you mad or jealous? Like, you've got to check your mindset, because that's going to affect your business for sure.
100%. So you've been all over. You started off in leasing, which I think ironically you and my wife worked together way back in the day, doing property leasing in like apartments.
I was going to ask you if she used to work for Mark Taylor, because I think I was her trainer.
She did. Yeah. She said she used to work with you like way back in the day. She tells me stories about, she tells me stories about the apartment leasing. She's like, that wasn't a good time. Different ball game. And then you went into new build sales. So you've got some experience on that side of the coin on the table. What made you leave new build into traditional residential? Why did you do that?
Yeah, so I was selling new builds for 8 years. I was one of the top new home sales consultants in the entire country during the recession. So learned that how to overcome objections, how to truly sell a product. But the hours of new home sales are brutal. You don't find a lot of moms with young kids. I have 3 little kids. You don't find a lot of moms in that business, because you literally move into your sales office. You're there every weekend. Those Monday holidays, you're there. You get home at 7, 8 o'clock at night. You can't even leave for an hour to go watch your kids' football game. So it's so sad. I was at the end, I worked in Anthem at Merrill Ranch in Florence for 7 years, and then I opened up Morrison Ranch in Gilbert, and I was driving to work crying. Like, I'd leave my family on a Sunday and just crying, but I felt stuck there, because you make a really good income in new home sales. You have more of a guaranteed income, and I saw so many realtors fail. There's over 55,000 realtors in our county, and I was scared to leave new home sales, start fresh. And it wasn't easy. I mean, I never thought in a million years, I'd be where I am in the resale career, but just worked really hard, and it's really comes down to being consistent.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I have a good friend that's in new home. He actually was in residential with me on my team a while back, and he had gone into new build for the consistency. He's like, I get a steady paycheck and I get a little bit of bonus. It's been interesting to see, especially when the market ramped up, how much that new builder has drug him through the mud, because they've been cutting his pay. They're like, well, we're going to give you a base salary, but they cut his commission tier down, and then they capped him. He's like, doesn't matter how many houses I sell now, I'm capped out. And, then it makes you wonder, you're like, what's the trade-off, right? Like, you're getting a steady paycheck, but now you're limited. You can't go any higher no matter how hard you work. You basically have put yourself in a box of, okay, I work for somebody again. It's just a normal job again.
Yeah, and it's the same in somebody could be listening. Maybe they're thinking about getting their license and they work just in a corporate 9-to-5 job.
Absolutely.
I mean, I was sitting at my new home sales desk watching the flags blow in the wind. New home builders have the big flags. I'm like, this is my life right now. Yes, I'm making several $100,000 a year, but I'm just sitting here watching flags. Like, there's got to be more to life. So I told myself, if 1 year in resale doesn't work, I can always go back to new home sales, but I never wanted to go back to that. So I just worked as hard as possible and just stayed super consistent, got up early, stayed consistent with video and social, and it's paid off.
Love it. Did you have any jobs prior to real estate? So obviously you were doing apartment leasing stuff. Did you
right out of high school, I got into apartment leasing. So I was doing that for 4 years.
Real estate, lifelong career. Love it.
Then 2006 started in new home sales.
Okay. Let's jump into this. So what do you enjoy most about real estate right now? Obviously, you've got a whole array of experience in it. What's one of your favorite things about it?
I think as a realtor, what you have to enjoy is the fact that we're changing people's lives. Yeah. And I like to say my clients' goals become my goals, right? Like the fact that our marketing is able to bring our sellers a higher price, or our relationships with other realtors, or our reputation amongst the real estate community is able to help our buyers get their offer accepted.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's obviously like the best part, because if you don't love the fact that you're helping people with that, you're going to get burnt out in a month of this job, because it's nonstop 7 days a week. It doesn't turn off.
Stressful.
Like even on Easter, I sold a house. Like it doesn't stop. So you have to have that at the forefront.
Yeah. You guys, hopefully you guys are listening to this, by the way. She keeps kind of touching back on like reputation in the business, how you relate to other clients getting offers accepted and whatnot. And so, like I said, guys, when you guys are picking your agent, that's one thing I would recommend, is picking one that's got a good reputation as far as doing volume sales, has connections, because those things do make a difference, especially in this environment where you got multiple offers on homes and whatnot, and you got, for example, me, I do a lot of listings. That's primarily a majority of what I do. When I get multiple offers that come through the table, I'm always looking at, okay, what clients do we have, but who's going to be the most solid buyer in this? Who do I think is going to have the transaction pushed through the best it possibly can, right? Which is going to come down to your lender and your agent. Are they experienced? They know what they're doing. Is this going to be a rocky road for my seller if I got to you know, somebody that has no idea what the heck they're doing, and is their buyer really qualified, or do they have a team or a team lead or a lender that knows what the heck they're doing, and they're calling me and, you know, hey, I assure you this is going to be a great buyer, you know, and it all comes down to who you guys work with, and she's been making those points. So hopefully you guys are paying attention to that. What do you enjoy least about real estate? I know you kind of talked about it's a nonstop no-go. Is there anything else?
The least is my phone constantly dings and rings from the time the sun goes up to even after the sun goes down. It's just ding, ding, ding. And I am a people pleaser. Like I feel like I have to respond within 5 seconds. And you know, I can't even not have my phone. We just went on a vacation to Idaho, and we went on a hike, and I didn't know I was going to lose service. And I could receive texts for 3 hours, and I couldn't respond to them.
Was it stressing you out?
I was literally about to have a panic attack because, and I know my clients are taken care of. We have a full TC team that works 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I have an incredible team of 6. Like, everyone's taken care of, but it's my, I guess, just... I don't know, my own struggle of just wanting to be available at all times. So that's definitely hard, right?
I feel that. I went through that last year going into this year. It was a huge part of it. There was just, I like had this day where I sat down and I was like, my business owns me. Like, it was true, you know, like you were saying, like, I think I was laying in bed. It was like 9:30 at night when I'm sitting there messaging my client about this thing. And I thought about it. Like, it was like this thing that clicked in my head. I was like, how I respond to this or what happens is going to make zero difference because nothing is going to happen tonight, right? And I'm like, why am I taking time away from my family to do this? So again, part of what I do is I had like a business coach that's been helping me. And he's like, you got to leave the office by 4 o'clock every day. And I'm like, oh man, I usually stay here till 6 or 7 at night, you know, and go home and spend time with your kids and get off your phone at 4 or 5. And it's been a struggle, but I can promise you business still goes. It's been all right.
Yeah. People
set
get
those
into,
boundaries.
They get into real estate thing. You know, I'm not going to have a boss anymore, but now your clients are your boss.
Clients are definitely your boss.
You need to get your vacation request approved by your clients.
Oh my gosh.
But, no, it's so tough, but it's such a blessing. It's such an incredible career to be in. And and we've definitely started implementing new things this year that have just been huge for the team.
Cool. So speaking of your team, you recently started one, I think last year. Is that when you guys started?
So
year before
up
that?
until 2020, it was still the Gillette group, but I was the sole agent. But I had a full admin team of my own videographer, TC, all of that. So I was basically out there helping every single client. And I've always, because I have a large Instagram following, I always have agents reach out to me. Hey, are you bringing on agents on your team? And for the longest time, I was like, no. I don't know whether it was just very, very high standards and expectations or just I want that control of helping every single client. So it took a while, but then I got to the point where I realized my clients are still getting a great service, but I'm to the point where I can't take on any more clients. I'm so busy with this inbound traffic. And then I brought on Sharon as my first agent in 2020. And then it was just me, her, our TC, and our videographer. We were as happy as can be. But I knew we needed to grow. And, for example, we opened up a few months ago for the first time ever interviews to the public. I had 40 agents apply to be on our team, and we picked one.
Not surprised.
And I mean, I know we need more, but I love our small but mighty team, and the culture we have is incredible. But it's been so cool. And now I'm able to hand over my buyers. I'm not taking on every single lead that I get, and it's been life-changing for sure. It's
definitely a struggle for sure, because I feel that was the same with me. I loved to have my hands on everything, and then started the team and kept it small, which I want to make a point too. You brought a point up. You're like, I didn't really want a team. I was kind of just happy doing my own thing, and I only grew out of necessity because I had to. And that was something that I did. And I think that's something that's so important, because I hear a lot of newer agents that are in the business for like 8 months or a year. I want a team. Oh, why do you want it? Are you busy? So busy that you need a team, or are you doing this because just to say I have a team? Because those are two very different things. I think that you have to get to a level of experience where you're in this couple of years and you're extremely slammed and you're busy, and your team should grow out of necessity because you need help, but in value you're adding coaching to them. Because I think too many people like teams are like the trends, right? I'm going to have a team, and I just see a lot of people, I'll just say for what it is. I don't think they belong being team leaders. They're great people. I just don't think they have the experience or the right reasoning for being a team, and a team should be there to help you grow your business, and in return you help them grow theirs. But key word, you should be so busy that you need it, right? Not just, hey, I'm going to have a team to have a team because I got nothing else to do. It doesn't make sense.
And there is so much that goes into real estate.
For sure.
I tell anybody that reaches out to me for advice, I'm like, don't even consider joining a team if they haven't been in the business for at least 3 or 5 years.
Absolutely.
I'm still learning things every single day, and I've been doing this 17 years.
Yep.
How can you be a team leader after a year in the business? There's so much that goes into this job. Like,
Absolutely.
it's such a disservice to your agents, right? Like, you should want to be under mentorship and learn, and then maybe have that dream to be a team leader one day. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, and another crucial part of my team is actually my virtual assistant that works full time for me, because like I said, I did everything myself. Up until January of this year, I was up at 4 a.m. making my own YouTube thumbnails, uploading my videos, tagging my videos. Everything you see, social, everything I was doing myself.
You're a mad woman. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then, so at the beginning of the year, I hired a coach. I invest $3,000 a month. She coaches our whole team and me individually through Tom Ferry.
Love it.
Completely life-changing. And my coach, day one, she's like, Shannon, what the heck are you building your own like YouTube thumbnails? Like, you sell over 100 homes a year, you know, like what are you doing? And so she helped me interview VAs. We found the perfect one. And even that is just so life-changing to know that every day she's working on those things. Like, I used to build my own property websites, like all of that. So I'm still a work in progress. I know that I have a lot of improvement. Like, you know, I shouldn't be taking on as many clients personally as I do, but that's been huge for sure.
Yeah, somebody put that into perspective for me. I can't remember what it was. I was doing the same thing as you because I was doing all my own stuff. Like, luckily I got Dylan over here. He's a rock star. He helps me with all this stuff now. But there was a point where I was doing a lot of my own stuff, and somebody was like, listen, how much do you make per year? And so I was like, okay. He's like, now, how many hours did you work? And I was like, well, I do work a lot, like 70, 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
But he's like, okay, cool, whatever. Divide that, and that's your hourly rate. And I'm like, okay. And then he's like, how much could you pay somebody to do this? That's a $9-10 an hour task. And he's like, and you're this much an employee. I'm like, oh boy. Like,
I
then
know.
you
It's
put it into
powerful.
perspective. It is. And we people like us that just start at the bottom and you're so used to doing it yourself, and you're good at it.
And we can get it done faster,
For
right?
sure.
Plus, I mean, I know a lot about your backstory. Like, I grew up super poor. We didn't even have a dining room table for like 2 years. We sat on the floor eating. And I guess I also am like very, I guess you could say cheap, right?
Frugal.
Like, I don't want to pay someone. I'm just going to make my own thumbnail.
myself.
I don't want to wait around for somebody. I'm just going to do it myself. But it just doesn't make sense because I could use that time. It's like hiring a house cleaner or like somebody to do your laundry or somebody to do your landscaping. Like, unless you just love cleaning your house, you shouldn't be cleaning your own house. You should be using that time to build your business.
Changing your mindset from this is costing me money to I'm buying my time back now. Because when you break it down, how much is an hour of my time worth? And that's up to you to determine how much your time's worth. I know what mine's worth now. Like, you get it because you're so friggin' busy. You're like, man, every hour that we sell our lives away to our business, which is good, it grows, is an hour we sell away from our family and our kids that we don't get back. So when you start, I didn't get it. I was the same way as you. I grew up super poor, and so it was like, I don't want to spend money. I could do it myself. Why am I going to spend money on this? And then eventually you're like, wait a minute, I'm back in that cycle of doing $9, $10, $11 an hour things that I'm not that person anymore. And then would I spend $10 an hour to get an hour back with my kids? Absolutely. I'd spend $1,000, right? Okay, cool. Then why am I paying myself to do this? So I've really had to, for me, in this last, I'd say probably 2 years, as things have started to ramp up and grow, and I've taken on a lot of different businesses. That's been a game changer for me, is thinking about that. Every time I catch myself, like I just went through this, Temps guys, Temp in Templeton, good friend of mine, you know him well too. His guy came over, Miguel, because we were scaling up an off-market business, and he sat down. He's like, why are you doing all of this? Like, he blew my whole business up. He's like, this is dumb. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why? You could hire a VA, da-da-da-da-da. So we went and hired a whole VA team, and it just freed up like 10 hours of my week. I'm like, gosh.
Everyone needs a coach or a mentor,
Absolutely.
right? Because I was skeptical. Again, I didn't want to pay thousands of dollars a month to a coach. I literally was like, well, they're going to tell me to go door knock or do things. I don't cold call. I don't do any of that. And finally, like my first call with my coach, she's older. Her kids are out of the house now. She goes, Shannon, I've been a realtor, my whole life. And when my son hit his first home run, I was racing into the parking lot as the ball went over the fence, and I missed his first home run because I was out showing homes. She's like, Shannon, I want to help you to where you don't miss out on your kid's life and all of that. So powerful to have that coach that, I'm not a numbers person, a spreadsheet. I couldn't even tell you what our year-to-date numbers are. Like, she's there, like, where's your P&L? Shannon, you got to do this. So she holds me accountable, right? And I'm selling more homes because of it. And my team is also being coached by her. So it's huge. You've got to invest in your business. And and stay consistent.
Yeah, tracking numbers is a huge one. That's, I don't know. I don't know about you, but for me, it was just like, I don't know. I just show up and do the deals every day.
Because when you're busy out showing homes, taking listings, what am I going to spend more time just running spreadsheets? No, I'm helping my
just
clients.
trust and you just trust yourself. And at least, like, I know I trust myself. You probably trust yourself enough. Or like, if I just get up and hustle every day, I'm going to make it happen. We've proved it. But when you have a team and you have a business, you got to track that stuff, because before you know it, like, money slips out. You're like, I'm spending money on this and advertising and coaching. What's my ROI on this? And I was really bad about that too. And so, I've gotten really good at tracking now. Doing a lot of bank account audits. What's your long-term vision for your team? So obviously, what are you guys up to? About 8 right now? You guys, how many?
Six
of you guys on there right now. So what's your long-term vision for it? What do you see it as in 2 years?
I definitely love the small but mighty feel, the great culture that we have. And obviously, like most team leaders, I'd love to get to the point where I'm not, out showing homes and taking on buyers. But I mean, we just really want this brand of, luxury, professional, just a high quality team. I'm not looking to just bring on any single agent that applies.
For sure.
And I mean, the culture we have is just incredible. Like, they're like family, and, you bring in like the wrong person and it could really affect that.
It's like cancer. You got to cut it fast. I've learned that lesson a few times for sure. It's tough. Growing, that's probably one of the most, hard things to navigate, I would say, is the culture side of it. When you have it small, it's easy. As you grow, you create more blind spots in your business. And like you said, you create that opportunity for the wrong person to slide in every once in a while, the cancer. And then it's tough too. And as you grow, it's tough because like when you start off with 2, 3, 4 people, it's easy, and then more and then more and then more. And then it almost seems like the bigger it gets, sometimes that culture can get diluted if you don't keep your eyes on it. And that's one lesson I've had to learn. I've had to stay on top of it. It's tough for sure. Let's see here. If you had 10 times the budget you have right now, what would you spend it on in your business?
That's a good question. So what I like to ask agents is to really think of who their role model is in business, whether it's, or even like if it's an athlete, a podcast host, another realtor in another state. And every one of those role models, they're going to have the same thing in common, and it's consistency. So as long as you're consistent with something, it's going to pay off. And what's really paid off for me, especially this year, is YouTube and video. And video is so huge. So I think if I had more of a budget, it wouldn't be to go out and buy leads or anything like that. It would just be to just continue video. And I think the trend in Instagram, of course, we all know, like TV show versus nonstop commercial, not nonstop homes, but letting people in on your life. So what I've started to do with my YouTube channel is bring my kids in, do like my favorite restaurants, interview the mayor of Queen Creek, where it's not just listing videos.
Absolutely.
So now people are Googling, finding our YouTube channel. I mean, I just listed, $2 million home in the Pecans. That seller found me from a 2019 YouTube video I had posted. So it's so powerful.
Yeah, you sold a few homes in that neighborhood. That's where I live. So that's a rock star. Shannon kills it in there for sure. You make a good point too. Like, I don't know about you, but you got to stay on top of the trends, and you got to stay on top of that stuff. Because even like Instagram, I noticed like in the last 5 years, it has become really saturated.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you. I'm sure you probably get it, but I've had people that do, like, they'll see me doing something, and then they start to copy and replicate. And I see certain agents, like other guys out there, like their video looks just like mine. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I talk to Dylan all the time. I'm like, dude, this guy looks like me. Let's change it up. So I'm sure you get it. So you almost have to stay always on front of it, right? You got to start, hey, how do I stack my game up? How do I differentiate myself in this sea of thousands of people out there doing it? So you make a great point, just always staying on front of it and doing that video.
And that is so important, because I could be, in a great point in my business, right? Like, we're on track to close $100 million. I could be just sit back, relax, but no, like, I want to be the best at certain things, right?
Sure.
So I'm sometimes listening to 3 podcasts a day. I'm watching YouTube videos. Like, okay, I used to do a 60-second listing video. Now I'm doing a reel of the listing video. Or what are the trends? Like, I want to be the best, not only for myself and my team, but for my clients. Like, I want them to have the best marketing. And I can't do what I was doing 2 years ago. It's different. So that's why
step it up.
Yeah, that's
Market's
why I've
gotten
really
challenging for sure. I'll say this: the cool thing is last 2 years, I think we've had a massive influx of new agents. I don't know if you've seen it, but like I have. Obviously, now that we own a brokerage, we get a lot of people like, hey, I want to hang my license there. And so we're interviewing. It's a lot of newer agents coming in. it's win and lose, right? I think win is it brings a ton of creativity, because I've seen some newer agents that have only been in the business for a year or two, and they're dominating. Like, they're like, holy crap, they're good. It's also saturated with a lot of people that probably shouldn't be business owners.
And they think it's so easy. Man, when people say, oh, your job must be so fun to look at homes all day, I'm like, you have no idea. We're problem solving all day. And I mean, I also, I've done videos on this for anyone looking to hire an agent. Don't hire somebody because you know them, like they're your cousin. And it's just, it's so sad, right? Because you can be a new agent and be awesome, but you have to be on a team. You can't just be brand new and be out there on your own. So,
yeah, I agree. I deal with that quite a bit. I get a lot of people reach out to me and, hey, I need help on this and this and this and this. And I'm like, go join a team. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, with that being said, though, guys, choose your teams wisely, like what Shannon mentioned in the beginning, because there's a sweet spot in the middle. I think that there's those teams that are so friggin' big, 80, 90, 100 people, where they're almost like a mini brokerage, and you don't really hardly ever talk to the team lead. They don't add a lot of value. On the flip side of that, there could be a team that's like brand spanking new, and the team lead has no idea what they're doing. They've only been an agent for a year and a half. You know what I mean? They don't even have the experience underneath them to teach you really what you need to learn. Do your due diligence, interview, find somebody that you're like, hey, I love that person. They're authentic, because every team lead's different too. Like, Shannon runs a successful team, and she's a little bit different than I am, how she does things and how she coaches. I'm a little bit different. We both run. There's no right or wrong answer, right? It's just who fits in. Who do you fit in under their leadership style? Different coaches in real estate. Tom Ferry's, you got the Brian Buffinis, you got a bunch of other people that coach differently. They're all successful. It just depends on how you want to do it. For example, like, I made this analogy the other day. I was talking to a new agent that came in with my brokerage, and he was like, yeah, do I need to join a team? And he's like, I'm thinking about just doing my own paid traffic. And I was like, yeah, do it. You could. But here's the thing, like, the benefit for somebody like me is I've gotten big with my team. We do paid traffic. We're big on social media. I do paid traffic for my newer agents, but I get 800-900 leads a month. So I'm like, good luck if you're a solo agent trying to tap in and get 800 leads a month, where right now, if you plug in on this as a newer agent into one of these systems on a newer team I have, we got access to 800 leads a month for you. You get that, you get the systems, you get the processes, you get the CRMs, because how much would you say, and you don't have to fully disclose ballpark, what do you guys spend on like CRM systems, processes, TCs? Like, what would you say your rolling overhead is roughly? So
per month, I'm probably $30,000 to $35,000 in expenses.
Yep.
We have a $35,000.
Pay attention, guys.
Yeah, we have a $35,000 a year budget for client appreciation. We had a $12,000 Easter egg hunt. So the stuff that we invest back into the business, and that's not necessarily even buying leads. I mean, it's branding, the movie theater ads, videos, all of that. I'm also on a TV show that airs on Fox. So we really invest a lot in the personal brand of things, and it's not cheap. And I also pay for a lot of things for my agents. Like, if they have a listing, I'm paying for the video, the photographer, all the ads and everything. So they have very limited out of pocket. I just wanted to provide a lot of value for my team, because I was on a team when I first started in real estate, and I couldn't even get my team leader on the phone if I had a question. I
didn't know that. You didn't know you started solo, so you were on a team.
Well, I was on a team, but I consider myself, I was more solo, because just didn't get the help. I mean, it was nice. I learned a few things, but So anyways, it's expensive to run a team. There's a lot of expenses, and teams are powerful. And it's also that your clients are going to get a better experience, because you have the full TC team. You have the help if you're on vacation to show a home and all of that. Yeah,
I have a couple of newer agents. They're my brokerage, same thing. One of them, Hunter, little cowboy. You guys follow that kid.
Yeah, and the land man.
The land man. Awesome. He's a kid, man. He's 20 and he's dominating. But he came to me, and I remember I had a talk with him. I was like, listen, what do you want? Like, what is your end game here? What's your goal? And he's like, I just want to travel and I want to make good money. And he's been in Colorado for a month. I think he's in Wyoming now, and he's still doing deals. But the reason he's able to do that is because we plugged him in and we said, here's what you do. You get a TC, you get a buyer's agent that can help you when you're out of town. You got a personal assistant. We built a system for him, you know what I mean, where he didn't have any of that when he came in. And so again, guys, I hope you paid attention to that. She mentioned rolling overhead budget, 30K surplus, which I can tell you mine's right about the same to run a lot of what I do. That you're either going to occur, not all of that cost obviously as a solo agent, but I remember being newer, and that's what it was. It's like everybody thinks like, oh man, you guys are selling a lot of houses, making a lot of money. It cost a lot of money to run a team and to do advertising and to do marketing. So, plug in, find a great team that helps out with that stuff and can incur your costs, because you're going to grow so much quicker. That's what I can tell you, you know. So
I think I also like to tell anybody that's maybe a rock star solo agent and they're like, I don't want to join a team. I don't want to give a team leader split. You have to look at your annual income. If you're on the right team, you're going to make more money per year and you're going to have a better quality of life. You're going to be able to be with your family more. And for you to be a solo agent, without a TC, doing all your own stuff, worried about a team split, man, at the end of the day, like my team, the team split doesn't even make it. It washes itself out. They're getting so many quality leads.
Absolutely.
Quality life, yeah.
Buying your time back, getting the TC. They're getting access to the systems and processes you've used, and you can guide them. Hey, don't do this. I did this and it didn't work. Hey, do this. It does work. It's literally fast tracking you to your business. But that's one of the things for me is it's quality of life. What you said, I love to help people. It's no longer about just saving money. It's just about how can I actually have a business? How can I take a 2-week vacation and my business still runs for me? Good luck doing that if you're on your own. Ask me how I know. It's impossible.
Plus, the market is shifting. The past 2 years was crazy. The market's shifting. Sellers are going to care more about who they hire to list their home. My team has admitted they've gotten, even if it was their own friend or family, like they have hired them because of the team they're on and the reputation. So now's the time with this market shift. If there are solo agents out there that are just struggling, like to join a team, is huge.
All you cell phone photo agents are about to go away.
Yeah, I had a call yesterday from this frantic seller who hired one of those like low fee brokers, freaking out, no showings. I go to the listing. I'm like, oh my goodness, there's like duplicate pictures. They've got the wrong neighborhood in there. She's freaking out. She wants to know, how can I fire them? Like, sellers are going to care, right? So we've stayed consistent, I think, both of us in our listing marketing. Like, we didn't take any shortcuts throughout
spend
this
money.
full,
spend money,
2 years.
market quality.
Yeah, and now I think the best will survive, if this market, if more inventory comes, homes are sitting on the market longer and all of that.
Yeah, which house stands out the best? Which one's getting his most, eyeballs on that thing? Which agent has the biggest network and resources of other agents to get? Exposure is going to be such a big thing. I agree. Like the last 2 years, that's why everybody got in and they thought it was easy, and it kind of was. I mean, I'll be honest. I wouldn't say it was easy. It was very competitive, but your quality of marketing. I mean, I was seeing stuff that was like junky. Like, you get it. Like,
your listing would sell in the first weekend. It'd be crazy cost, but then but now you have the stress of, the home's been on the market 14 days. I'm stressing out. I can't sleep. Why is it not selling? What can I do differently?
Yeah, like even if you weren't good at comps, you can just kind of throw it in the area where it should be, and the market's going to pay it. Where now, like I get excited. I know a lot of people are like freaking out. And I just had a talk with my team the other day. I was like, you guys should be getting excited because this is where quality is going to dominate when it comes to... I'm
excited too. We couldn't have stayed in what we've been experiencing the past 2 years. So
not at all.
I'm excited too, and it's going to be great for the strong agents. And then if you have a team leader that sold in the recession and knows how to actually sell, overcome those objections.
You got it. What do you feel is your biggest advantage in your space right now? What makes you better than most people?
Oh, so I think really, there's a lot of great agents out there and we all do things differently, but it really comes down to the consistency that I keep saying. So we really specialize in, first, the personal brand, right? Like, what do people see when they Google you? Like, we have a great website. Our website actually just won this huge industry award. Like, what does your website look like? Do you have video content? What does your YouTube look like? Does your Instagram have, your kids and your dog and your personal life where people know, like, and trust you and
absolutely
follow along? No matter how busy I am, I will always update my Instagram stories. I know you're really good with that too, because you're top of mind. You're almost brainwashing people every time they open up their Instagram. Oh, there's Shannon Gillette. And so staying consistent with that personal brand is something that I think is a little bit different than most agents. And listing marketing is huge for us. Like, our average listing video is getting 40,000 views on YouTube right now. And just really having that professional video, even in a great market, a seller's market, we're still marketing our listings. And we just sold a listing to one of the Diamondbacks players. He was... Nice. He was playing an online game, and we do so much video, like ads, marketing, all of that. He was playing an online game, saw the Home of the Day video commercial, called up his agent, scheduled a showing, and he's under contract right now on this home.
Nice.
Literally, a professional athlete playing a game online. So
saw it. That's cool.
Yeah, it's really huge.
Yeah, and you made a good point too about the just staying top of mind, right? Because I don't know about you, but I get a lot of people on like social media questions, and I almost think they overcompensate. They're like, man, I make posts and I didn't get a deal right now. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way. It just
takes years.
You never make a post. I don't know about you, but I never make, like when I make a post and I hit the post button, I'm never like, okay, I'm going to sit back and wait for somebody to call me right now to buy a house. It's more of just like what you said. Hey, I just want to say hi, and people know I'm out here every day. They know I'm out doing business. I show them behind the scenes. I show them, and those of you guys that do follow me, I post a lot of goofy crap because honestly, I'm a goofy guy and I just love to have fun, you know, but it lets people know who I am.
Lean into your brand, right? Like I loved yesterday you posted your daughter was at like cheerleading or something. Like that just shows who you are as a dad. You have kids, the know, like, and trust, and you're going to attract your like tribe or whatever, right?
Absolutely.
Like you can't be afraid to show people who you are. So if you follow me, like I used to be scared because I'm very involved in my church. I'm not afraid to say, you know, I'm a Christian. Like I'll share a Bible verse and think, oh, this might offend some people. But at the end of the day, like this is who I am. My faith is really important to me. My family is really important to me. My dogs, like all of that. Like I love your dog's post. Like I've never met your dog, but I feel like I know him. Like
he's like his own little celebrity right now. It's crazy.
So you have to just let people in on your daily life, right? And that's the stuff people like to watch. If you just post nonstop real estate, nonstop homes, and you're wondering why you haven't sold any homes off of Instagram,
nobody knows
that's
who
probably
you are.
why. You have to create almost your own TV show with just behind the scenes of your life, and you have to be consistent. So I was consistent with video for probably 2 years. Every home, I did a home of the day video commercial. Every listing, I'm standing in front of the house thinking, who the heck's going to watch this video? People probably think this is so annoying, but now I have this fan club that are like, I watch every one of your videos, and I found your home of the day video online from 2019. Will you list my $2 million home? Like it's so powerful, but it took 2 years of being consistent with video before I started to see the return. So many agents, they do 2 open houses and say open houses don't work for me. They post 2 reels. Oh, I posted some reels and I didn't get any calls. You have to be consistent. And the key with that is what I find with agents is they're consistent. Say they want to just call cold leads. They're consistent. And guess what? That's going to pay off. Now they're super busy. They're out showing homes, taking listings. Guess what? They stopped making those calls. So then in 2 months, they're dead. And they're like, I'm so slow, blah, blah, blah. You have to have a plan in place to be consistent. I am very busy. No matter how busy I am, I will still post on my Instagram story throughout every single day of my life. At the end of the day, it's 2 minutes of my life.
It's free content too, because you're out doing stuff and you're just filming like, hey, I'm out checking out this house. Hey, check out this listing. Hey, look at this. You know, like, just along the go.
But could you imagine that this week I've been on more listing appointments than I have the whole year. I'm working sun up to sundown. I'm lucky if I get home before the sun to even eat dinner with my family. I could say I'm too busy to post content. I'm too busy to post on my Instagram or my YouTube, but you'll still see my post. You'll still see my Instagram story. You have to be consistent, and agents need to stop whining about how something doesn't work for them, because even if you do 2 open houses and you don't get a lead, I'm sorry, if you do 50 open houses, you're going to sell homes. So you just have to have a positive attitude, and stay consistent.
Its consistency is so key. And I agree with you. Like anything will work. I'm a firm believer in that anything will work. I know people that are phenomenal door knockers. I'm not. I've literally never gone and knocked on a door a day in my life, just not my personality. But I know dudes that kill it door knocking. I know people that kill it on social media, posting every day. I know people that kill it cold calling. It all depends on what you do, but if you do it enough and you do it long enough, you'll be successful. There's no way to fail. I literally don't know anybody that does anything at a high level that fails. They just
but you also, I think, have to. I'm a big fan of 3 things. Like you have to pick 3. What are your things going to be? Is it open houses? Is it expired leads? Pick 3. Don't try to, like, I go to these real estate conferences and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to do all of that. Well, that doesn't make sense. Like I can't do all of it. Like I really want to be big on TikTok, but I'm not. I have 200 views on my TikTok videos. It's a dream of mine to be this because TikTok's huge, but I can't do it all. Like I can't say, okay, I'm going to be great on TikTok and Instagram and all these things. So
TikTok's a beast. I don't know. Good luck on that. Cause like, I don't know. I post I'll post the same thing. I'll kid you not. I'll post the same thing on Instagram. Facebook, maybe just because I'm older demographic. Facebook still does well for me. I don't know why. Facebook does good for me.
How old are you?
37.
Okay, so we're the same age.
Yeah, but like I've always done, like people come in and I'm like, listen, I kill it in Facebook groups. I kill it in Facebook. It still works. It just works for me. And then I was like, okay, and then we went to Instagram and that works really well for me. And then TikTok is like, I think the younger gen. There's older people there. But it's crazy that I post the same comments on there. Like I'll post the same video, right? You got Instagram and your TikTok. the comments differentiating from one to the other are so different.
Oh yeah,
like,
that is one thing I'm scared of. Like
It's crazy.
can't read my TikTok comments, but people are so mean over there.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Yeah, they're a bunch of little haters over
I
there.
know, it is really weird.
I catch myself in the comment section sometimes. Like one guy made a comment about my rental properties, how I buy them, and I was like, some of the benefits, right? I buy rentals to shelter tax money at this point in my career. It's not even a passive income thing. It's for me, it's not, oh, I need to make $200-300 a month. For me, when you start to scale your income up and you're in a high tax bracket, I buy rental properties so that I can depreciate them. So I was talking about one comment about one post. I was like, I buy rentals, I get passive income, somebody pays my mortgage off, but I get the tax depreciation and it appreciates. And man, the comments I got from all these ignorant people were like, how are you depreciating it if it's appreciating? You're an idiot. I'm like, oh my God, dude, let me break this down for you.
But it goes just really back to just putting the content out there.
For sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
And you're going to sell homes if you're consistent.
Absolutely. All right. So do you self-develop? And if so, tell us. So I know you mentioned you get a coach. Yeah. What else do you do for self-development?
So I don't watch really any TV.
Love it.
The only TV I watch is like, I do love Selling Sunset.
Even do you? I can't like that show?
I can't get through, like I don't have time, but like if I'm on an airplane or something, I love, $1 Million Listing, right? So I can't like, my brain literally, like, I'll just fall asleep. Like, it's even hard for me to go to, like, the movie theater with the kids. I just fall asleep.
For sure.
But I'm obsessed with self-development. Like, when I'm driving, I'm using my time wisely. Instead of listening to music, I'm listening to a podcast. I love audiobooks. I love the book Atomic Habits, just listening to that.
Just read that one. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you have to use your time wisely because everyone in this business is like, oh, I don't have time for that. Well, what time do you get up? Get up earlier. How much Netflix are you watching each day?
Straight up.
Just maybe go 30 days without watching Netflix and you'd be surprised, and being very strategic with your time. And as you mentioned earlier, I am a mom with 3 young kids. I'm married, I've run a very successful real estate business. So how do I find time for my family too? I have to schedule in things like dinners with my family. We travel 6 weeks out of the year. This summer I'll be gone for 30 days.
Nice.
We're leaving again here soon, but I'm still, of course, my clients are still being served well. I'm still available, but I have to get out of town every month or so because that is the only time I can't go show a home because I'm the type where if a client calls me, Shannon, can I go see this house?
Yes.
Okay, sure. I'm going to be right there. Or we want to list our home. Will you come over tonight? Sure. I'll be right there. So we travel and then it really helps me have that quality time with my family. So self-development, like in business, but also really being intentional with the time with my kids, doing one-on-one time with them, traveling, being at every one of their games. I'll never miss one of their sports games.
Nice.
And it just comes down to being very intentional with your calendar, and it is possible to do a lot of things at once.
Yeah, shout out to your husband, David, because that dude's like an amazing dad, like staying at home and taking care of running the ship while you're out doing the thing too. I message him every once in a while. He asks me like boat questions and stuff.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing, a boat, like you have a boat, we have a boat, like having something where maybe we don't have time for a hobby, but to be able to go out on the lake, like we're going to go out tomorrow and just be able to break free from real estate.
Yep.
Not only does it give you Instagram content, right? Because you should be letting people in on your daily life. You shouldn't be really working 7 days a week and only having real estate content.
For sure.
But also it helps you just kind of break free, come back refreshed. And you have to do that because this job, unless you're in the business, you'll never understand how burnt out you will get, how intense it is. The stress, like all of your clients' problems are on your shoulders.
Well, and like people don't understand that too, because here's the thing, right? Like I'm not going to get on social media when we're going through like a bad deal and put my client on blast.
Yeah,
or
we
like,
can't post the bad.
No, like, and I try to be a little more, right. Yeah. I try to be more authentic with it, and I'll share like when a deal's over, hey, here's some of the challenges we had. I try to be very authentic with that because I don't want people to get into this business thinking it's easy. I think from the sidelines, like, oh, it's great. You're selling a bunch of houses. You get on social media and you get on social media and you make some posts and you're selling these beautiful homes. And it's like, okay, I relate it to that motivational thing. You see like the tip of the iceberg and you're like, you guys are seeing 10% of the success that's on top of it. Yes, we're going to show you the cool houses we sell. Yes, we're going to show you over ask, whatever, but you're not seeing all of the work that goes in and all the sacrifices on the bottom surface level.
And the years of work. Like I missed my son's first steps while I was sitting in my new home sales office. I mean, the sacrifice, like people ask me, well, how can I get to the point where you're at, Shannon? I'm like, go back 17 years and start from the bottom, right? Because you have to learn that. There's no fast track to success in this business. And I think experienced agents are also providing a better experience for their clients because we know how to problem solve. Like we're problem solving all day. And it's an intense business, so don't want to scare anyone for getting into real estate.
It's raw.
It's not easy.
True. It's an amazing career. I love it. Like I love the creativity to it. And one thing I've personally ventured out is I was doing the same thing. You just selling a lot of on market traditional, and then I kind of had a talk with myself. I was like, what's different avenues? I don't want to get bored with the same thing. And so we've started doing investing, and I got creative with creative financing to pick up rental properties because for me it's like, okay, I don't have a 401k. What's my retirement? Like I do invest in some of that, but we started buying rental properties and stuff. It's hey, I'm in the business. I might as well acquire great deals. So I've been focusing on that, started a brokerage and, own shares on a title and just a few other things like that have taken a lot of time. But that's the thing I love about real estate. You got so many freaking options in it, but it is hard. It's not easy. You don't get freedom. You don't get freaking time. And you work probably more. I'm sure you agree. I work more now than I ever did working for any corporate job or anything like that. 100%. Carry more stress too. How do you get yourself out of slumps or ruts? You ever have like those weeks or those days where you're just like, man, I'm not feeling it. What do you do to get yourself out of those?
Honestly, it's funny. The days where I feel like in the slump, it's the day maybe I'm like working from home that day, but then I didn't get ready in the morning and I'm just in my workout clothes or whatever. I think just like getting ready, get out there, like I love listening to just like positive, like Christian music or listening to a sermon or going to church, like really just helps me.
Nice.
So honestly, I thankfully don't struggle with a lot of that. Maybe because I'm so busy, but I definitely have my own other issues.
You got tools. Yeah. I talked about that on one of my previous podcasts, just having tools. Just that when you start to get in these little slumps, you're like, I know what's going to get me out of it, listening to music or going to church or something like that. You got to have these tools to get you out of it for sure. And once you find those, it helps you out. So who are some mentors in the real estate space you think that others should know about? Could be other agents or coaches or anything, but like who do you think people should, if you're a newer agent, you want to look up to some people or out there, who do you recommend?
I think it's so powerful to follow people on Instagram in other states that you admire or your role model. I mean, when I started in video back in 2016, there were hardly any agents actually on film. I think it's so important to get your face out there as much as possible. As awkward as it is, and you may think nobody cares to hear.
It's awkward for like a month. It's not that bad.
Yeah, like picking your phone up and talking into it. Like even if you only have 20 Instagram followers, you're talking to 20 people right now and they see your face. So getting your face out there. So I was following this agent, Jessica Edwards, in the Carolinas because she was doing so great at video in 2016 and I would watch all of her videos and she was standing in front of the house. I'm like, okay, I want to do that. And just having that motivation for me, it's other agents that do video really well, like Seth O'Byrne in San Diego. I love him. And there's so many great agents here locally too. I think it's important to just really build that Instagram community not be jealous, not think of somebody as your competitor, like their posts, comment on their stuff, build the relationship. Like we probably only met each other maybe twice in real life, right?
Yeah. Like a couple of like real producer events or something like that.
Yeah, but I feel like I know you. I know your dog, your kids, like all of your hobbies, because you're really well at like bringing people in on your daily life. So yeah, I think just following people that inspire you to get those ideas and just stay motivated is important.
Love it. What's one of the biggest misconceptions about you think? So you think
you should tell me.
This is a fun question. Biggest misconception about you? I don't know. It's tough to say. I get it. I know a lot of people. If you get brought up, you know what I mean? They think that I don't know. They almost think it's easy for you. You know, like, it makes it look super easy. And knowing what I know and talking to you, and I know like David, your husband, and I, shot some DMs back and forth here and there, and he's like, "Yeah, man, that's a lot of work." And we're figuring, like, he shares a little bit about some of your guys' business too. So like, I know that, but I think that's a misconception. They think that you have it very easy. I'll tell you that.
And I would probably agree. And the tough part, like you mentioned earlier, we can't share the bad things. Like I did share the other day, like I had a closing in Santan Valley. This cash buyer bought 15 homes. My single mom, like I was raised by a single mom. Like I want to help, her get her home sold. Like this is all of this money is, to help her with her move. Yeah. She's got the moving truck outside, closing day, everything's ready. And this investor calls and says, we're pulling out of all deals. We're canceling on 15 homes. We're walking away from $50,000 in earnest deposit because of the rate hike. We're scared, whatever. And I had to make that call to this single mom. Like, I'm so sorry. It's going to work out. We ended up reselling it for more. She's
probably a higher
more,
price. Yeah.
And she got to keep the earnest deposit. So it's all going to work out. I shared a little bit about that on social because I felt like it wasn't, but the other things.
People
like
need to know. Yeah.
The clients calling, yelling at us or different things. Like, we can't share.
They would never do that.
Things, right? So there is so much more. So I guess that would be hard because it does look, all glamorous, or, oh, Shannon probably had it so easy, right? Like, you have no idea what I've been through to get to where I am.
Yep.
And yeah, it's tough, but it's like, how do you show that, right? Like, I had a client that my house, like, yes, I have a house cleaner, but it's not very organized. Like, my office has stuff everywhere. Yeah. And I love your posts about your agent's cars. Like, you wouldn't want to see my car right now. Like, there's so many
I have
cups.
a rule with my front reception lady. She's here. She's awesome. And her car is, that's the one you probably see a lot of. My posts are dirty. And my car detailers come to the office Thursday and they do my car and agent's cars and my wife's car and stuff like that. And I have a rule. I ask her, is your car dirty? And yes. Okay. I'm not washing your car. Like, if it's full of trash or stuff, I'm not washing it. You keep it clean. I'll pay for your car to get detailed. Yeah.
Yeah. So people think, oh, Shannon's probably got it all together. So my client was really embarrassed about her house. And we get that sometimes where people are like, hey, come over to a listing appointment, but it's not clean. Yeah. I'm like, don't worry. So I took a picture of my office and it was just a disaster. And I sent it to her and she goes, I am so shocked right now, Shannon. I thought you had like this beautiful, like, clean office. Yeah. No, like So
what you mean is you're a person, Shannon. That's what you mean. Okay, got it. All right, cool. Yeah. You guys hear that? She's a person. She has life. What would you say was the biggest highlight in your career so far? What's something that stands out that you're really proud of?
Man, I have been such a huge fan of Tom Ferry for so long. One of the #1 real estate coaches in the world. And I've had it's been such an honor to be on some of the biggest podcasts in the world. And in 2020, Tom Ferry's office called me up and they're like, Shannon, we want you to be a guest on Tom's podcast. Like, this is probably one of the top 3 podcasts in the world for real estate.
He's huge.
And I was a guest on his podcast. And now I take my whole team to Summit every year. We're going to Dallas in August. And I'm very close to being like in the Summit workbook or like a speaker or something, which is huge. So I'd say the highlight of my career was just like having Tom Ferry's office call, because you've made it somewhere if like he would have you on his podcast.
For sure.
Of course, this is a highlight as well, being on your
thank
podcast.
You. I appreciate that. Here you go. So, thank you. What's been the lowest point in your career? Obviously, you got your highs, Tom Ferry. What's been in your career at one point where you're like, man, that was a tough time for me for sure? What would you say that was?
Well, I would go back to just like the PTSD of the really, really hard deals, or I'm experienced enough where I don't make a lot of mistakes now, but we're human. We can still make mistakes. But I would say like over the years, like just those dumb mistakes where, I don't know, like, of course we've all made them, but like where you're sick to your stomach, like, oh my gosh, I dropped the ball on that or something like that. Because I can take stress really well if I've done nothing wrong and I've set the right expectations. Yeah. So what I've implemented to help with that this year is I've been going to a local studio to film video on like next step videos, which have been so huge. Like, congratulations, your home's under contract. Here are the next steps. Because my clients would get upset with, oh, the appraiser has to come in the house or they have to come back for a final walkthrough.
Like, they're shocked.
So now I have videos on everything. Like, I was up at night explaining what an appraisal waiver is at 10 o'clock at night, and my clients just couldn't understand what it was. So I made a video of like, what's an appraisal waiver and shortfall. That video has 4,000 views. So now I can send that to my client and watch this video, like watch it a million times and understand it, because sometimes those can be the lowest points of where just the right expectations weren't set or upsetting your client in any way. Love that.
Yeah. It's this last market's brought up like so many weird.
I know.
I don't know about you, but like we had like really like random deals and like random requests and appraisal shortfalls and a lot of creativity came out of the last 2 years just to get deals accepted, which was cool. I saw a lot of like really creative offers come through, but like you said, I'm like, man, I've been learning a ton even in these last like couple years.
Like my client's got a house because we offered them a vacation. He had a bunch of points, Marriott points. We're like, okay, we're gonna you go anywhere in the world on a vacation and we got our offer accepted. And that's another thing. Like, I don't like to be salesy. I've never in my life asked someone, oh, are you looking to buy or sell? I've never made a cold call. Like, I'm just myself. If you want to work with me, awesome. Like, that's great. But yeah, setting those expectations, having the videos, because when you're on the call with a buyer, like, okay, you've got to buy as is, you got to waive your appraisal. It sounds very salesy. And now I have a video of like how to get your offer accepted in 2022. Watch this video so you don't feel like I'm just telling you. Because sometimes they could think maybe I'm dishonest. Like, oh, you're just trying to make me waive all these things. No, I'm trying to get you the house.
You want the house? Trust me, this is unfortunately the environment we're in. Yeah, we had that on a house I sold in La Centa, so it was pretty nice, like $2 million property for one of my good friends that was buying that one. And he owns a big boat company. One of my boat dealers, actually, where I get mine from. And he owns a timeshare like on Powell with the lake. And we had to offer that in the offer. We're like, we'll give you a free week timeshare, Lake Powell on this houseboat. Like
now it's going to turn
creative.
With my predictions of the market. Now the sellers are going to have to be creative. Like, oh, we'll give you $5,000 towards closing costs if you buy our house.
I don't know about you. I got my first offer in yesterday that they asked for seller concessions.
Yeah, we've been getting it, and contingencies.
Did you start getting those again?
I'm getting them for our clients.
There's one of my listings, and the buyer calls me up, and he's like, "Well, I don't know if you know the market's slowing." I'm like, no, I didn't notice that. And he's like, so they hit us like 10 grand under, and they asked for like 2% seller concessions. I was like, we're not quite there, but that was the first time
maybe in August.
Exactly. That was the first time I've seen a offer come through with like seller concessions in a while on there. Let me see here. If you were not a real estate agent, realtor, what would you be doing? What else would
I joke about this because many times a week I want to quit and just retire.
Yep.
And I say like, man, I just would want to start like a TikTok on, I don't know, my favorite products or YouTube travel.
Be an influencer.
Yeah, we started doing uploading like my family and stuff on YouTube. So we did this. We go to Rocky Point a lot. It's only 4 hours from here. And we did a video of like, because everyone would ask, oh, are you scared being in Mexico, blah, blah. So we did a video, and that video has 35,000 views. I've literally sold homes from my Rocky Point video because at the end I say, hey, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. And I don't even remember the question. What was I talking about?
Just what would you be doing if you weren't a realtor?
I would do that. YouTube, travel, like just quit everything, sell everything, and just travel the world.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I have the same thoughts all the time. So hopefully you guys are paying attention to that, because she's like, I want to quit multiple times a week. And guess what? Same thing. There's been days where it's so weird. I don't know. This career, like I love every piece of it, but there's definitely days and weeks where some things I miss are, I will admit this, is when I worked like a corporate job, right? A set job, I had a set time off. So for example, Friday would roll around. I'd have that 5 o'clock hit, and I wouldn't have to think about work until Monday morning. So I would enjoy my weekends, or I wouldn't
even imagine what that would be like.
Like literally completely disconnect. Like it was like, okay, here comes the 5 o'clock clock, and I'm done. And I'd clock out, and then joke with my wife about that, because when we met, I did work a job like that, and we were done. And then now it's just like, it's tough, man. It is so hard to. You always learn that, like, I'm making great money. Yes, I have some autonomy and freedom. Yes, nobody tells me what to do, which is what I love. Like, I don't have anybody that tells me what to do, but I want to quit a lot. Like I always joke, I'm like, I'm going to literally sell all my assets, all my stuff, my business. I'm going to go buy a cabin in the middle of the woods, and I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm just going to have my kids, my wife, and dog, and that's it some days, and bring myself back to reality.
No, it's tough. It's a great job, but it takes a very unique personality, because even when you get out of production, you are not done with issues. Now you've got your, now me being a team leader now, all day long. Even if I'm out of town, my team will be like, oh, we're not going to bother you. Or it was my birthday, like last week. We're not going to bother you, Shannon. Don't work today. Ding, ding, ding. What do I do with this Binzer? What do I do? It's my birthday. You guys said you weren't going to bother me, but I'm fine with it. Like, I love my job. I love what I do. And we have to just remember we're helping change people's lives. But I think one of the hard parts of the business is clients don't understand how hard we work and the little things we do to keep deals together every day. And, sometimes I'll maybe if I'm with clients and a home just closed, instead of calling, I'll text like, congratulations, your home just closed. How many times, I don't know if this happens to you, but like most of the time my clients write me back, when do we get our money? Like, yes. Okay, well, I just like killed myself to get you this incredible deal. Like, you didn't even say thank you.
Yep, 100%. No, it happens a lot.
Or will you fill out a review? Like, I'm horrible at asking for reviews, but Google, you should have your Google business page. You should have an online presence, But like, even my clients where I know that they're so happy, like I literally help them get an extra $20,000 and they won't even fill out a review. I even did a reel on, it takes 60 seconds to fill out a Google review. Like, why? Sure. Like, so I think sometimes that's hard to just not. And then you have those grateful, thankful clients that get me gifts and flowers, and they have gifts for me at closing, and that makes it all worth it.
Absolutely.
But they're few and far between, I think.
Yeah, it's a weird business. Same thing. I've done somewhere like I dang near like I've had to give up commissions to make the deal work for them. There was a deal I even lost money on, like a lot of money on. And yeah, you just don't get a thank you sometimes. And you don't even understand the amount of stress that me and, my team, my TC and me and all of us were doing behind the scenes to hold it together and negotiate it for you, and what I gave up, and but to make it look easy for you on the other side of that. And then just a simple, like, I agree with you. It's like sometimes a text like, hey, I really appreciate you helping me do this, like, makes all the difference. Have you gotten
that where you're like, congratulations, you've closed, and they're like, when do we get our money?
Absolutely. Probably I would say like every 4 or 5 deals, it seems like. So when do we get our cash?
Now I did a video on that, okay, your home's under contract. Okay, keep in mind we never know what time closing will be, and your funds will come within 24 hours. So then they at least have the expectations set of when they're going to get their money.
Oh, yeah. No, I get that a lot. You're not the only one. So one of the questions was, people want to know on your advertising, how much do your video or your movie theater ads cost? And you don't have to give an exact number. It's
very expensive, right? And I can't say we've ever gotten a deal from, we're in all of our local movie theaters here. It's more just comes down to that personal brand. Like my goal as a team leader and a realtor is that whole I see you everywhere, like the YouTube ads, all of that. Like, I see you everywhere. So then they go to a movie, the call to action is follow me on Instagram.
Sure.
I mean, that's probably over $6,000 a month just in those video commercials.
Yep.
So
yeah, pay attention to that too, guys, because that's a thing I think a lot of people see. Like, I know when I had my billboard up, you got your TV stuff up, they're high cost, but they don't translate into, it's hard to put a value on, is it a client? I was talking to Justin Mercer about this on one of our other podcasts, because he's like got a ton of billboards, as you guys know, he's out there. And even he was saying the same thing. He's like, I don't know if I can tie a direct ROI to, like, I got these billboards and I get this many deals. He goes, it's just more of recognition. It's just a different way of, instead of being on social media every day and posting, you kind of see them in other areas, or the movie theater, like what you're saying about. So it's almost like a passive investment. It's hard to track an ROI on something like that. So for those of you newer agents that are just like, I'm going to come in the game and go buy a billboard, or I'm going to go spend money on a movie theater, don't expect, hey, I'm going to post a movie theater, I'm going to get 5 deals that month, because it's not. It's a passive investment. I would almost recommend not doing that until you've got a brand built. I'm big on, I don't know about you, but I know, like, with my team and newer agents that come, I tell them, spend time doing things that you can do for free first. Like, build your brand, do your social media, do your YouTube, do the things that don't necessarily cost you money. And then from there, if you need to scale out, okay, now I'm going to spend big bucks on a billboard, or, for example, Google paid per click, or Facebook ads, or paid traffic to scale. But maximize everything that's free, that you can just put time and energy and effort into without having to spend money.
Open houses and building that brand is so important. So we're really going all in client appreciation, I mentioned earlier. So we'll have our videographer. We just rented out the Seville Golf and Country Club water park. Like, it's sold out. Now we've built this culture for our clients where other people who aren't even our clients, they see our videos of these crazy $10,000, $15,000 events. And they're like, well, I want to buy a house with you guys just so I can be a part of your client experience. And then, they're like, wow, their clients must like them. They're still going to the client appreciation. So things like that, investing in and just building that brand from the outside, it looks a little bit cooler than it is.
Sure. Absolutely. A lot of work goes into that. Another agent had asked, how do you boost or market your ads? So I'm guessing they probably mean like paid traffic or something like that. Do you do it yourself? You got a company that does it?
So having this VA this year has been life-changing. So we have TubeBuddy on YouTube. Instagram used to be like one of my top sources of referral. It's really moved to YouTube this year. I think to thank my VA for that, because she's researching how to tag these videos. So if somebody Googles, best things to do with kids in Queen Creek, like, you could see the video of Elevate, and we brought our kids to Fat Cats, and they may watch that video, or best neighborhoods to live in. Like, I posted, and they don't all have to be professional. Sure. I have a video I recorded on my cell phone at Barney Farms. I've sold 4 houses off of that horribly produced video, where people are like, I saw your Barney Farms video. We want to buy a new build, because I do a lot of new builds, because I come from the new home sales background. And so as far as boosting those, it really comes down to TubeBuddy, which is so inexpensive, like per per month to figure out those tags, because people are going to YouTube instead of Google to Google things, right? And, we'll boost those as well based upon internet search history and stuff. So it depends on the listing. We are investing a lot of money in really listing video boosting. I don't really have a lot of other random ads out there besides listings.
What would be, out of all your marketing channels, you would say be your highest ROI right now on investment?
Return on investment, 100% videographer.
Nice.
That quality video, yeah.
What's been your experience on the videographer side of things? Because I think that's one thing. I'll tell Dylan, that's how he ended up with me, actually, because I've had a couple really good videographers that were with me. And then the problem was they started, like a bunch of other agents started hitting them up, like, hey, come do it.
I know, my videographer, that's a hard thing, right? You'll see I don't really ever tag. I have a few different videographers.
Don't give them no shout outs.
I'm not going to tag them because my videographer was my first teammate. And back in 2015, he was a photographer with like one of the big photography companies, just a kid in college. And I'm like, hey, have you ever thought about doing video? He's like, no, but I'll go on this journey with you. So I helped him invest in some of his equipment. So he'd go to ASU part-time and then work with me. So he's done most all of my listing videos, but yet I don't want other agents to know about him, right? He's loyal to us, but so I feel bad like not tagging him. But
I wouldn't feel bad about it. I don't blame you. Like I had that happen with me a lot on I've used kind of various different video guys over my career. I haven't had one. You got super lucky having that one. I had a couple. They were good at what they did, but then I noticed like all of a sudden I'm on social media and I'm like, what the hell? That guy's stuff looks just like mine. I'm like, oh, what the hell? That was my videographer that made that for him.
I know.
So I remember when we sat down, I talked to Dylan. I was like, listen, you're amazing at what you do, but you're not doing this for any other agents, FYI, unless they're with me or my brokerage. Like you got to protect your brand too. You know what I mean? You can't have your stuff out there. You put a lot of time and money in agents. You need to understand this too, because I get people all the time like, hey, I want to use your guy for this and this and this. Well, okay, cool. Then basically your stuff's going to look just like mine. And and then now my brand is going to be devalued in some ways I spent a lot of time, energy, effort, money on this kind of stuff. I don't want it to look exactly the same.
And trial and error, like my home of the day video commercial, 60 seconds, like even the equipment, everything, like my first videos were horrible. I can't even watch them. Right. So, but now the big trend is studio filming with teleprompters. So I found this studio right down the street from here, Be Real, and I go there every 2 weeks. I film 20 videos, nice. Just sitting there reading off the teleprompter. So I'm doing reels.
Do you find it hard to memorize the words and stuff like that for that? Because I know like him and I always joke sometimes, like I'm a good off the cuff guy. So he's like, hey, make a video on this. I'm like, all right, let's go. Like I'm doing one take.
I like to use a teleprompter, even though some agents are like, I can see your eyes moving. And then I had one bad comment. I'm like, good. I don't care. I don't have time to sit here all day. I can sit there in my same shirt or switch shirts, whatever, film 20 reels of frequently asked questions. And then I'm getting that YouTube content for my clients of like next steps, what's a binzer, how to respond to a binzer. So it's called Be Real, just down the street from here. Nice. And it's fairly affordable. And it's been great just to knock that content out.
Love it. That's awesome. There's always those haters in the comments that talk crap. You're like, I spend so much time, energy, effort, thoughtfulness into putting this together, and you're just sitting at home talking crap on my comment.
I can see your eyes moving. Great. I read off a teleprompter. I will tell the world I do. I don't care.
Yeah, that's awesome. Full disclosure, I thought David was doing your videos for a while, so that's awesome. I remember like a couple of years ago, and I was like, I think I was just assumed it was probably me, like the David. I was like, he's really good at video editing and stuff. I didn't know you even had a guy that was doing it for a while there. So, all right, cool. Well, I'll tell you what, to wrap this up, I think it's been an awesome podcast. I want to leave you with one final question. So this will be for the audiences. What's the single best piece of advice you could leave someone just starting out in careers in the real estate space with their career that you think would help them succeed? So like the one thing, like do this and you're going to be okay.
I think don't give up. Pick 3 things that you want to focus on, which we've talked about, lots of different ideas. Don't give up. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an overnight success, but be consistent in those 3 areas every single day, and you're going to sell homes, and have a plan in place for when you get busy and you're out showing homes all day, how you can continue to be consistent in those areas all the time, because real estate's a roller coaster. You've got a ton of closings, no closings, just like that, unless you're just consistent all the time. So it really comes down to that, and not giving up, surrounding yourself with the right people, investing, in the mentorship and all of that.
Love it.
But be prepared for a very stressful job.
Yeah, understatement. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. Honestly, it's been an honor, and I really appreciate it. And I'm glad we were able to finally get this together and put something together. We've been knowing each other for a long time in the area. hilarious.
Thanks.
Get
It's an
together.
honor to be here, and I think, like I said, it's really cool for the real estate community to see two, I guess you could say, competitors in the same room together and the power of that.
Yep.
And yeah, I'd love for everyone to follow me over on Instagram.
I was just gonna say, how can they find you? Give them some shout out. Where can they find you
at Shannon_Gillette on Instagram. I respond to every single DM. So if anyone has questions on anything today, I'm happy to help.
Cool.
Definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're really, bringing a lot of content over there. And,
Love it.
Yeah.
She drops some good value. You guys definitely give her a follow if you guys aren't already. She's, as you guys can tell, she puts a ton of time, energy, and effort into her videos and content and education for people. So give her a follow. Go find her. You guys will not be sorry about that. So
thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.